A new Smash means a lot of new tech, but some questions about the game always stay the same. Like, what do you press when you get hit to survive the longest, how to DI, and what even is DI? I'm C5 from the Beefy Smash Dudes, and we're gonna answer these questions. DI might be a term you hear or read about a lot when it comes to competitive Smash. It stands for Directional Influence, but we'll get into the more technical details later. Let's first keep it simple and look at what exactly you should do once someone lands a strong hit on your character. Thankfully, the rules haven't really changed from Smash 4 to Ultimate. If you get knocked back horizontally, you simply press and hold your control stick into the opposite direction to survive longer. Very straightforward and easy to understand. Try to do it as soon as possible when a hit connects to get the maximum effect. But if you get knocked upwards, the rules change a bit. Pressing the control stick down won't help you a lot. You can't really reduce your vertical launch speed like that. And before you go into the comments to correct me, yes, crouch cancel does exist in this game, but doesn't really help in this situation. Crouch cancel is a mechanic that allows you to decrease your knockback drastically by crouching while getting hit. But that's the problem. You have to actually crouch, just pressing down isn't enough. And if you have enough time to crouch, you also have enough time to shield. For low knockback, actively crouch cancelling can be helpful sometimes, but that's not what this video is about. So forget about pressing down, but what you can do is change the angle of your knockback by pressing either left or right. Your goal is always to get as close as possible to the corner of the blast zone. Blast zones are the boxes around a Smash stage that make you lose a stock if you touch them. In Smash Ultimate, the minimap even shows you how close you get to the blast zone, and if you get knocked into it, you die. The new training stage also visualizes the blast zones of Final Destination and Battlefield. Now, because of simple geometry, if you change the angle at which you get knocked upwards, you automatically increase the distance you have to travel to reach the blast zone and lose a stock. Technically, changing the angle also directly influences the launch speed, but let's not get too technical yet. If an attack would barely be strong enough to kill you straight upwards, if you change the angle, you will survive. So again, if you get knocked sideways, you press the control stick into the opposite direction. If you get knocked upwards, you press the stick to a side. But which side? Well, for an attack that would send you perfectly straight upwards, it wouldn't matter. But most attacks in Smash have at least a slight angle to them. If an attack sends you slightly to the right, you should also DI to the right, so hold the control stick to the right and vice versa. Most upwards kill moves send your character slightly away from your opponent, so as a rule of thumb, you should DI away from your opponent most of the time. But there are exceptions, like Luigi's up smash or Ike's up tilt, that send you behind them. Those you also have to DI behind them. You will have to learn about them through experience, and you should, because it can be fatal to get the wrong DI on a move like that. Okay, you know now what to do with your control stick once you get hit, but is that all you can do? Once you regain control of your character after getting knocked back, you can choose between air dodging, jumping, attacking, or doing nothing. Compared to doing nothing, directional air dodging can actually help you survive longer, but it's still not the best thing to do. Jumping can make you survive even longer, so for most characters, if you feel like you are really close to dying, using your double jump can be a last resort survival tool. But there is something even better than that. While normal aerials don't help at all, there are a few specials that can stop your momentum completely. Some examples are Villager's Side B, Sheik's Down B, and Zero Suit's Down B. This technique is called Momentum Cancel, and there are probably some more specials with that property in the game, but this is a topic for another video. Okay, time to get a bit more technical and talk about DI and LSI and what they mean. Huge shout out to Ruben for really explaining it to us in detail. Like I mentioned before, DI stands for directional influence, and it means that you can influence your launch angle. If someone knocks you to the right and you press up, you will get launched higher. Press down and you get launched lower. The angle also directly influences the launch speed through a specific formula. This is getting a bit complicated, but to simplify, you usually want your launch angle to point into the corner of the blast zone. Now, theoretically, you get the biggest change in angle by holding the stick perpendicular to the direction you get knocked into. So if you get launched diagonally up right, you would need to press up left to get the biggest change in angle, but in reality you don't want to do that because of LSI, the second important term of this video. LSI stands for Launch Speed Influence and is very simple. If you hold your control stick up, you increase your launch speed, and if you hold it down, you decrease it. And because of that mechanic, you don't want to hold the control stick up left, since by pressing up, you increase your knockback. That's LSI, and that's also why for horizontal knockback, even if it has a diagonal angle to it, you only want to press left, since LSI is not active if your stick doesn't move up or down. So, isn't then pressing down better than pressing left? No, because even if you make use of LSI, you still ruin your DI by pressing down and die sooner anyways. Now, you might wonder, hey, if I can reduce launch speed by pressing down, why don't I do that if I get launched upwards? And well, there is one extra rule for LSI, and I promise this is the last bit of info in this video. LSI is not possible for these launch angles between 65 to 115 degree and 245 to 295 degree. And that's why pressing down doesn't help if you get launched upwards. You can only make use of regular DI to change the angle. One last tip for upwards knockback. I said earlier that you get the biggest change in angle by holding the control stick perpendicular to your launch angle. So if you get hit upwards with a little bit of an angle, it's actually optimal not to simply press to a side, but to also very slightly press down. Most upwards attacks don't send you completely straight up, so giving your DI a slight downwards angle is optimal most of the time. Okay, quick recap. DI changes your angle and works in all directions. LSI changes your launch speed by pressing either up or down, but LSI doesn't work for upwards or downwards knockback. Okay, I know this can get a little complicated, but we tried putting the simple tutorial first and the more complicated explanation last. In the end, you only have to know what to press, but not why it works. Hopefully, we were still able to explain both to you. Please share this video with every Smash player you know. I don't want to see anyone mess up their DI or commentators explain it wrong at tournaments. So make sure everyone knows how it works. If you like Smash Tech, consider subscribing to the channel. We are also live streaming on Twitch right after releasing this video, so if you want to catch us live, check out the link in the description. As always, thanks for watching, see you soon and stay beefy.